Hi everyone, I'm Misa and welcome back. Today, I'm very excited because we're tackling 110 very practical GRE words that will boost your vocabulary and help you ace the exam. This is an advanced lesson, as you can see here, C1, C2, advanced vocabulary. So no Farsi translations, of course, just pure English practice. Here's how each slide works. On each slide, as you can see here, we have the word, the vocabulary, and then right next to it, you'll find the phonetic transcription so you can learn the pronunciation as well. And right below this, we have the definition. Of course, we love definitions. We love learning English with definitions. The first example, so each word has two examples. The first example sentence uses the word in context, right? So for example, adamant, you'll see adamant in example 1. And the second example here is a paraphrased version of the first one. This way, if you want to express the same idea in simpler words, you'll know how to do it. And of course, it helps you stop relying on Farsi and start thinking in English. If you're ready, let's jump in. Adamant, adamant. Refusing to be persuaded or to change one's mind. She was adamant about not attending the party, no matter what her friends said. She refused to change her mind and did not go to the party. Adamant, adamant. Ambivalent, ambivalent. Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas. He felt ambivalent about the job offer. The salary was good, but he didn't like the location. He liked the salary but disliked the location, so he couldn't decide. Ambivalent, ambivalent. Analogous, analogous. Comparable in a way that makes things clearer. The structure of an atom is analogous to the solar system, with electrons orbiting like planets. Atoms are similar to the solar system because smaller parts move around the center. Analogous, analogous. Anomaly, anomaly. Something that deviates from normal or expected. The sudden drop in temperature was an anomaly for the time of year. The weather change was unusual and not normal for that season. Anomaly, anomaly. Appease, appease. To make someone less angry by giving in. The manager tried to appease the disgruntled employees with a bonus. The manager gave unhappy workers extra rewards to calm them down. Appease, appease. Arduous, arduous. Involving a lot of effort and hard work. Arduous. Climbing the mountain was an arduous task. Climbing the mountain was very tiring and required great effort. Arduous, arduous. Benign, benign. Harmless. The tumor was benign, so there was no need for surgery. The tumor was safe and not life-threatening. Benign, benign. Biased, biased. Showing unfair preference or prejudice. The judge was removed from the case due to a biased opinion. The judge was removed from the case because he couldn't make a fair decision. Biased, biased. Bolster, bolster. To support or strengthen. The evidence helped bolster the defendant's case. The evidence made the defendant's argument stronger. Bolster, bolster. Capricious, capricious. Given to sudden changes of mood or behavior. Mountain weather is often capricious, changing quickly. Mountain weather changes suddenly and unpredictably. Capricious, capricious. Catalyst, catalyst. Something that causes change. The new policy acted as a catalyst for reform. The policy sped up and caused needed reforms. Catalyst, catalyst. Clinch, clinch. To confirm or settle definitively. The final goal clinched the championship. The last goal secured the team's victory. Clinch, clinch. Coerce, coerce. To persuade by force or threats. The suspect was coerced into confessing. The suspect admitted guilt because he was pressured. Coerce, coerce. Cognizant, cognizant. Being aware of something. She was cognizant of the risks but proceeded anyway. She knew the risks but chose to continue. Or she was aware of the risks but chose to continue. Cognizant, cognizant. Condone, condone. To accept behavior that is wrong. The company does not condone discrimination. The company does not allow or approve of discrimination. Condone, condone. Confound, confound. To cause surprise or confusion. The startup's sudden success confounded experts. Experts were shocked and confused by the company's success. Confound, confound. Conspicuous, conspicuous. Easily noticeable. The red jacket made her conspicuous in the crowd. Her jacket made her stand out clearly in the crowd. Conspicuous, conspicuous. Construe, construe. To interpret something in a particular way. His comments were construed as an insult. People understood his comments as offensive. Construe, construe. Convoluted, convoluted. Extremely complex and difficult to follow. The novel's plot was so convoluted I had to read it twice. The story was overly complicated and hard to understand. Convoluted, convoluted. Copious, copious. Abundant in supply or quantity. She took copious notes during the lecture. She wrote a very large amount of notes. Copious, copious. Corroborate, corroborate. To confirm or give support to something. To confirm or give support to something. The witness's testimony helped corroborate the defendant's alibi. The witness's testimony supported and proved the defendant's story. Corroborate, corroborate. Counterintuitive, counterintuitive. Contrary to what one would expect. It was counterintuitive to think that eating more could actually help you lose weight. It seemed strange, but eating more actually helped with weight loss. Counterintuitive. Debilitate or debilitate. Debilitate. To make someone weak. The long illness had debilitated him, leaving him too weak to return to work. The illness drained his strength so much that he couldn't work. Debilitate or debilitate. Debunk, debunk. To expose as false. The documentary aimed to debunk several popular myths about ancient civilizations. The film or documentary proved that many common beliefs about history were wrong. Debunk, debunk. Deference, deference. Respect given to someone superior. He showed deference to his mentor by listening carefully to his advice. He respected his mentor by paying close attention to him. Discern, discern. To perceive or recognize something or to notice something. She could barely discern the details of the painting from across the room. She could hardly see or make out the painting details, or she could hardly notice the painting's details. Discern, discern. Disregard, disregard. To ignore. He chose to disregard the warnings and hike in a dangerous area. He ignored the warnings and still went hiking. Disregard, disregard. Dissonance, dissonance. Lack of harmony or conflict. The dissonance in the music created a feeling of tension and unease. The clashing sound in the music made listeners feel uncomfortable, or the lack of harmony in the music made listeners feel uncomfortable. Dissonance, dissonance. Docile, docile. Submissive or easy to control. The docile puppy was easy to train and quickly learned new commands. The puppy obeyed easily and was not difficult to train. Docile. Docile. Embellish. Embellish. To make something more attractive with details. She embellished the tale of her vacation with colorful anecdotes. She added extra, exaggerated details to make her story more interesting. Embellish. Embellish. Emulate. Emulate. To imitate or match. He tried to emulate his father's success in the business world. He wanted to copy or achieve success like his father. He wanted to match his father's success. Emulate. Emulate. Enigma. Enigma. Something mysterious or difficult to understand. The disappearance of the ancient city remains an enigma to historians. Historians still find the city's disappearance a mystery. Enigma. Enigma. Esoteric. Esoteric. Understood by only a small group with special knowledge. The professor's lecture on quantum mechanics was too esoteric for most students. Most students couldn't understand it because it was too specialized. Esoteric. Esoteric. Eulogy. Eulogy. A speech praising someone, usually after death. The eulogy at the funeral celebrated the deceased's life. The speech honored and praised the person who had died. Eulogy. Eulogy. Exacerbate. Exacerbate. To make a problem worse or to worsen. His refusal to acknowledge the issue only served to exacerbate the conflict. Ignoring the issue made the conflict worse. Exacerbate. Exacerbate. Exemplary. Exemplary. Serving as a model. The best of its kind. Her exemplary performance at work earned her an award. Her exemplary performance at work earned her an award. Her excellent work was recognized and rewarded. Exemplary. Exemplary. Expedient. Expedient. Convenient and practical, but possibly improper. Using a shortcut was expedient, but it violated company policy. The shortcut was useful, but against the rules. Expedient. Expedient. Finesse. Finesse. Skillful handling of a situation. She handled the negotiation with great finesse, securing a favorable deal. She used skill and diplomacy to get a good deal. Finesse. Finesse. Fledgling. Fledgling. Young and inexperienced. The fledgling artist struggled to find his unique style. The new artist, or the young and inexperienced artist, had little experience and was still learning. Fledgling, fledgling. Fluctuate, fluctuate. To change continually or to move up and down. Stock prices tend to fluctuate greatly depending on market conditions. Stock prices go up and down often depending on the economy. Fluctuate, fluctuate. Fluke, fluke. A surprising chance occurrence, usually favorable. Winning the lottery was a fluke. He had never expected such luck. Winning the lottery happened by pure luck and chance. Fluke, fluke. Frivolous, frivolous. Not serious, trivial. The court dismissed the lawsuit, calling it frivolous and without merit. The lawsuit was silly and not worth considering. Frivolous, frivolous. Garner, garner. To gather or collect, especially information or approval. Her research helped garner widespread support for the new policy. Her research collected support and convinced many people. Garner, garner. Idiosyncrasy, idiosyncrasy. A peculiar habit or feature. One of his idiosyncrasies was always tapping his pen when he was thinking. He had the unusual habit of tapping his pen while thinking. Idiosyncrasy, idiosyncrasy. Immutable, immutable. Unchanging over time. The laws of physics are considered immutable and universal. The laws of physics never change. Immutable, immutable. Impediment, impediment. An obstacle or hindrance. His lack of formal education was seen as an impediment to his career advancement. Not having formal education slowed down his career progress. Impediment, impediment. An obstacle or hindrance. His lack of formal education was seen as an impediment to his career advancement. Not having formal education slowed down his career progress. Impediment, impediment. Impervious, impervious. Not affected by. The new raincoat is made of a material that is impervious to water. Water cannot pass through the raincoat. Impervious, impervious. Impetuous, impetuous. Acting quickly without thought. Impulsive. His impetuous decision to quit his job without a plan led to financial ruin. Quitting without thinking carefully caused him serious money problems. Impetuous, impetuous. inadvertent, inadvertent, accidental, or not planned. The mistake was inadvertent and not intended to cause harm. The mistake happened by accident, not on purpose. Inadvertent or inadvertent. Incongruous, incongruous. Out of place, not fitting. The modern art piece seemed incongruous in the traditional museum. The modern art didn't match the traditional setting or didn't fit the traditional setting. Incongruous, incongruous. Ingenious, ingenious. Clever and inventive. The ingenious design of the new gadget made it both functional and stylish. The gadget's design was very smart and creative. Ingenious, ingenious. Innocuous, innocuous. Harmless or not offensive. The remark was intended as a joke and was completely innocuous. The comment was harmless and not meant to offend. Innocuous, innocuous. Insidious, insidious. Subtly harmful. The disease was insidious, showing symptoms only after it had progressed significantly. The illness spread quietly and became serious before people noticed. Insidious, insidious. Juncture, juncture. A critical point in time or events. At this juncture, we need to decide whether to proceed with the project or not. At this important moment, we must decide what to do. Juncture, juncture. Juxtapose, juxtapose. To place side by side for comparison. The artist's exhibit juxtaposes nature with futuristic technology. The artwork shows nature and technology side by side for contrast. Juxtapose, juxtapose. Laudable, laudable. Deserving praise. Her efforts to improve the community were laudable. Her actions were worthy of admiration. Laudable, laudable. Lethargic, lethargic. Sluggish or low energy. After the long flight, she felt lethargic and struggled to stay awake. She was very tired and had little energy after the flight. Lethargic, lethargic. Lull, lull. A temporary pause or quiet period. There was a lull in the conversation as everyone waited for the results. The conversation stopped briefly. Or there was a temporary pause in the conversation as everyone waited for the results. Lull, lull. Makeshift, makeshift. Temporary and of low quality. They built a makeshift shelter using blankets and sticks. They quickly built a temporary or weak shelter to protect themselves. Makeshift, makeshift. Mired, mired. Stuck in a difficult situation. The project was mired in delays and budget overruns. The project was trapped in problems and couldn't move forward easily. Mired, mired. Mitigate, mitigate. To make less severe. Measures were taken to mitigate the effects of the economic downturn. Steps were taken to reduce the negative impact of the bad economy. Mitigate, mitigate. Myopic, myopic. Short-sighted, lacking foresight. His myopic approach to problem solving prevented him from seeing the bigger picture. He focused only on small details and ignored long-term effects. Myopic, myopic. Nascent, nascent. Just beginning to exist. The nascent tech startup showed great promise in artificial intelligence. The new company was in its early stage but showed strong potential. Nascent, nascent. Nuance, nuance. A subtle difference. The actor's performance captured the nuances of the character's emotions. The actor showed small, delicate differences in emotions. Nuance, nuance. Obfuscate, obfuscate. To make unclear or confusing. The lawyer's convoluted explanation seemed designed to obfuscate the truth. The lawyer's words made the truth harder to understand. Obfuscate, obfuscate. Obstinate, obstinate. Stubborn or refusing to change. Despite all the evidence, he remained obstinate in his belief. He refused to change his opinion even though he was wrong. Obstinate, obstinate. Onerous, onerous. Very difficult or burdensome. The new regulations imposed onerous requirements on small businesses. The rules were very hard and demanding for small companies. Onerous, onerous. Overshadow, overshadow. To appear more important than something else. The young actor's talent overshadowed that of his co-stars. The young actor's talent seemed greater than the others. Overshadow, overshadow. Placate, placate. To calm someone by giving in. The manager offered a discount to placate the upset customer. The manager gave a discount to calm the angry customer. Placate, placate. Plausible, plausible. Seeming reasonable or likely. The scientist presented a plausible theory that explained the results. The theory sounded logical and believable. Plausible. Plausible. Polarizing. Polarizing. Causing division into opposing groups. The radical new law was polarizing and sparked heated debates. The law divided people strongly into opposite sides. Polarizing. Polarizing. Pragmatic. Pragmatic. Practical or not theoretical. She took a pragmatic approach to solving the problem. She focused on practical solutions that worked, not just ideas. Pragmatic. Pragmatic. Precarious. Precarious. Not secure or risky. The ladder was in a precarious position, making it dangerous to climb. The ladder was unstable and could easily fall. Precarious. Precarious. Precursor. Precursor. Something that comes before another. The invention of the telephone was a precursor to modern communication. The telephone came before and led to modern technologies. Precursor. Precursor. Predisposed. Predisposed. Likely to be affected by something. He was predisposed to heart disease because of his family history. His family background made him more likely to get heart disease. Predisposed. Predisposed. Presumptuous. Presumptuous. Overconfident or going beyond what is proper. It was presumptuous of him to assume he'd be promoted without asking. He was too bold in assuming he'd get promoted. Presumptuous. Presumptuous. Pristine. Pristine. In its original or clean condition. The beach remained pristine and untouched by humans. The beach was completely clean and natural. Pristine. Pristine. Prolific. Prolific. Very productive. The prolific writer published several novels each year. The writer produced many books regularly, or the very productive writer produced many books regularly. Prolific. Prolific. Prudent. Prudent. Careful and wise about the future. It is prudent to save a portion of your salary for emergencies. Saving money is a wise and cautious decision. Prudent. Prudent. Quintessential. Quintessential. Representing the most typical example. Her performance was a quintessential example of great acting. Her acting perfectly represented what great acting should be. Quintessential. Quintessential. Redundant. Redundant. Extra or unnecessary. The use of redundant phrases made the report unnecessarily lengthy. Repeating the same words made the report too long. Redundant. Redundant. Respectively. Respectively. In the order mentioned. Alice and John will take their driving tests at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. respectively. Alice's test is at 10 a.m., John's at 11, in that order. Reticent. Reticent. Reserved, not sharing feelings. She was reticent about discussing her personal life with colleagues. She didn't want to talk much about her private life. Reticent. Reticent. Revamp. Revamp. To change or improve. The company decided to revamp its marketing strategy. The company changed and improved its marketing plan. Revamp. Revamp. Rife. Rife. Widespread, especially something bad. The neighborhood was rife with noise pollution. The area was full of constant noise. Rife. Rife. Rudimentary. Rudimentary. Basic, not advanced. The gorillas were trained to have rudimentary sign language skills. The gorillas learned only very simple sign language. Rudimentary. Rudimentary. Savor. Savor. To enjoy fully. She took a moment to savor the beautiful sunset. She slowly and deeply enjoyed the sunset. Savor. Savor. Scrupulous. Scrupulous. Very careful about doing things right. The accountant was scrupulous in checking every entry. The accountant was extremely careful to avoid mistakes. Scrupulous. Scrupulous. Sparse. Sparse. Thinly scattered or not dense. The vegetation in the desert is sparse. There are only a few plants spread out in the desert. Sparse. Sparse. Sporadic. Sporadic. Occurring irregularly. The sporadic rainfall made it difficult to plan outdoor events. The rain happened at random times, not regularly. Sporadic. Sporadic. Occurring irregularly. The sporadic rainfall made it difficult to plan outdoor events. The rain happened at random times, not regularly. Sporadic. Sporadic. Subside. Subside. To lessen or become weaker. After the storm, the winds began to subside. The winds gradually became weaker. Subside, subside. Succinct, succinct. Brief and clear. The summary was succinct, capturing all key points. The summary was short but explained everything important. Succinct, succinct. Surmise, surmise. To guess without full evidence. I can only surmise that he was late due to traffic. I guessed he was late because of traffic. Surmise, surmise. Tangential, tangential. Slightly related but not central. The discussion became tangential, veering away from the main topic. The conversation went off topic. Tangential, tangential. Tantamount, tantamount. Equivalent in seriousness. His refusal to cooperate was tantamount to admitting guilt. Refusing to help was basically the same as admitting guilt. Tantamount, tantamount. Timely, timely. Happening at the right time. The paramedics' timely intervention saved the patient's life. The paramedics arrived just in time to save him. Timely, timely. Transient, transient. Lasting only a short time. The city's transient population meant neighborhoods were constantly changing. People moved in and out quickly, so the population was temporary. Transient, transient. Travesty, travesty. A false or absurd imitation. The trial was a travesty of justice. The trial was unfair and did not represent true justice. Travesty, travesty. Trivial, trivial. Of little importance. The argument over dishes seemed trivial compared to bigger issues. The argument was unimportant compared to serious matters. Trivial, trivial. Unconscionable, unconscionable. Shockingly unfair or unjust. The conditions in the factory were unconscionable. Workers were treated inhumanly and unfairly. Unconscionable, unconscionable. Undermine, undermine. To weaken gradually. The constant criticism was meant to undermine her confidence. Repeated criticism slowly reduced her confidence. Undermine, undermine. Underscore, underscore. To emphasize. The teacher used examples to underscore the importance of following instructions. The teacher highlighted the importance with examples. Underscore, underscore. Unearth, unearth. To discover something hidden. The CIA unearthed a plan to assassinate the president. They discovered a secret assassination plan. Unearth, unearth. Unorthodox, unorthodox. Not traditional. His unorthodox teaching methods were first met with skepticism. His unusual teaching style was doubted at first. Unorthodox, unorthodox. Vestige, vestige. A trace of something that no longer exists. The ruins were a vestige of a bygone era. The ruins were a leftover sign of the past. Vestige, vestige. Volatile, volatile. Unpredictable or unstable. The stock market can be volatile, with prices fluctuating wildly. Stock prices change quickly and unpredictably. Volatile, volatile. Warranted, warranted. Justified. The use of extra security was warranted due to the high-profile event. Extra security was necessary and reasonable. Warranted, warranted. Winsome, winsome. Charming in a sweet way. Her winsome smile made her very popular at the party. Her sweet, attractive smile made people like her. Winsome, winsome. Great job, everyone. Great job. I'm so proud of you. You just learned 110 advanced GRE words. But remember, watching alone isn't enough. To really master these words, you need to practice and review. How? Try writing your own example sentences. Review them a few times during the week. Use at least 5 of them in your daily conversations or writing. And here's something that'll make it even easier for you. You can add all these words to MisaLearn Lightner system. That way, you'll get reminders at right time, practice them step by step, and make sure they actually stick in your long-term memory. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this lesson with your friends who are preparing for the GRE exam. See you in the next video.